What's going on, guys? It's Barry here with the Scryguys, and today we're going to be doing a little bit of a throwback. I shot a video where I wanted to do a tier list for the 2011 pre-con commanders, but after rewatching it as I was editing it, I was like, this was kind of boring. So instead, we're going to revisit these decks and update them for today. Let's go. And so today we're going to be talking about Riku of Two Reflections, 2 N-Teamer, legendary creature, human wizard. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you may pay Is It. If you do copy that spell, you may choose new targets for the copy, or whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay Simic. If you do, create a token that's a copy of that creature. So I used to see this a lot in the early days of Commander, but not as much as before. And that might have been because the game's gotten a little bit faster, and Riku is a pretty mana intensive commander, just because you have to, on top of the spells that you cast, you want to have enough to pay the 2 extra to either create a token or create a copy of a spell. And even though with things like Jeweled Lotus and all that stuff speeding up the game a little bit for this to possibly be viable today, it's also a 2/2 commander, and so I think it's fallen out of favor. I might be wrong, but I just haven't seen it at tables as often as I used to from past glories. But today we're going to be doing a $100 deck tech on this guy, and I think it's still pretty powerful at $100. And what I like to do as far as like deck building goes is that I as much as I love like building around commanders, I feel like this commander might get removed enough after seeing the initial value that it's going to be able to make for me, that we also have backup plans in the deck as well. So let's go ahead and check out what we're gonna need first, because this boy is mana hungry. So we're going to be using spells like Soul Ring, and we also have all the Signet Cycle in here as well, just to stay within the budget, to really get us there. I know a lot of people are like, well, you kind of want to minimize the amount of artifacts because you want spells and creatures to do the same thing, but it's 3 colors and they're colorless spells, so you can kind of use any kind of mana to do it. So I don't think I have to justify it that much. But we also have creatures like Wood Elves that are going to get us lands as well. We also have Sakura Tribe Elder on the deck as well. But to be able to make copies of this and get 2 lands it's going to be great. And we got Nature's Lore. We have the cycle, the 2 mana cycle ramp in here. So we have this, we have Rampant Growth, we have Farseek, and we have 3 visits. I kind of was on the fence about wanting to put Cultivate and Kodama in here, but because we also have the Signets, I feel like we didn't need it as much. Also because it's also like a color thing as well too. So but I feel like now the reprinting of 3 visits made it a lot easier, because I believe 3 visits used to be like an $80 card. And so now that it's been reprinted a couple times along with Farseek, Rampant Growth, and Nature's Lore, I think that's all the ramp that you're really going to need. This coupled with the Arcane Signet, Gruul, Simic, and Is It Signet, I think we're going to be good on mana. But we also have other things that do double shift, mana double shift. These are going to be cards that are going to give us some mana and also draw us a card or doing other things. So we have things like Manamorphose, which we can go ahead and copy as well. We have Big Score, which isn't really ramp, but it kind of like helps sets us up. It's like a savings account, right? And the fact that we can go ahead and, if we do Big Score, we have Big Score and the other for Unexpected Windfall, I believe it's called, in the deck as well. And when you copy, you don't have to discard it because the copy isn't being casted weirdly. I'm pretty sure that's how it is. I'm pretty sure. All right, I've copied enough. I copied this spell enough times where I didn't have to discard 2 cards, I think. But it's gonna give us draw 2 and then make 2 treasures. And if we have our commander out and we pay 6 mana into this, then we're drawing 4 and getting 4 treasures as well. So really good and it's at instant speed. And then we also have cards that are going to be like Llanowar Visionary, where it's going to draw us a card, but then this also acts as a ramp piece. It's a mana dork for us. And we also have cards. These are sort of ramp, but I wouldn't consider them ramp. All right, so Growth Spiral is draw a card and you may put a land from your hand into the battlefield. Now we are running around 36 lands just because this commander is pretty mana intensive. I usually like to run 34 just because I have like all the mana ramp and all, or the artifact ramp in here, but in this one under $100 we kind of have to like we up our land count, so you know, to make up for that. But Growth Spiral is nice. It's a nice cheap spell, and then you copy it for 2 more, so 4 mana, draw 2, put 2 lands down possibly. Same with Joint Exploration. We can go ahead and scry 2 so we can make sure that we should be able to hit lands, but it's not always guaranteed. And then if you pay 2 more into this, so if you pay 5 mana to this spell, you get to scry 4, draw 2 cards, and then possibly put 2 lands onto the battlefield. Because when you copy a spell, you copy it as you cast it, so this plus the kicker, it's gonna count the kicker as well. So, and then we have Storm Killing Artist, which isn't really ramp, but we have about, I want to say 34 instant sorceries in this deck. And if we make a copy of Storm Killing Artist, that can get pretty out of hand pretty fast. Hands ain't empty. No, this deck, your hands should never be empty. But we're playing cards like Coiling Oracle, which if we pay 4 mana, we can get to possibly put 2 lands on the battlefield or draw 2 cards. Elvish Visionary, nice cheap one. Pay 2 extra to draw 2 and then get 2 bodies onto the battlefield. And Mole Drifter has Evoke, and so if you pay 5 into it, you get to keep one of the Mole Drifters and draw 4 cards. I don't know how much the Null Drifter coming in Modern Horizons 3 is going to be after the dust settles, because right now it's sitting at $18. I don't know how much it's gonna be. It might be that just because it's like modern. It might be modern playable. I'm not a modern player, so I wouldn't know. But if it does come crashing down, then I would probably take out Elvish Visionary for a Null Drifter, because pay 5 mana and then you get a 4/4 flyer. It's really good, and with Annihilator 1, so you know what, that might never be cheap enough to put in this deck, but it's a nice upgrade. And then we have Archmage Emeritus, which has Magecraft. Whenever you cast or copy a spell, draw a card. If we're casting and copying it, we're gonna get to draw 2 cards for this. And then we also have the creature version, because we do have a fair amount of creatures in the deck as well. I believe we have 25 or so, and so it's probably one of the best like cast a creature, draw card spells in the game. Next we got Double Time. So these are going to be the spells that are going to help are going to allow us to copy the spells that we copy again. 20 Staff being one of them. If you would copy one or more spells one or more time, if you would copy a spell 1 or more times, instead copy it that many times plus an additional time. So we're paying 2 mana, we're going to get 2 extra copies of a creature or of a spell. Really good. Errant Street Artist is a 1 mana legendary creature, human rogue with flash, defender, and haste, and then you can pay 1 in a blue, tap it, copy target spell you control that wasn't cast. You may choose new targets for the copy. Just a nice way. And then we have Wart the Raid Mother, 4 and Gruul hybrid colors. Legendary creature, Goblin Shaman. When it enters the battlefield, create 2 red-green Goblin Warrior creature tokens, and then each red or green instant or sorcery spell you cast has Conspire. So we just have to tap 2 creatures to copy those spells. It's a nice backup for this deck, guys. And these are going to be our tools of the trade. We only have about 3 to 4 enchantments, but I wanted to highlight the 3 most important ones. Jay's Sanctum is going to give us cost reduction on our spells. Mana Reflection is going to give us double mana. It's probably the most expensive card in this deck. I put it in here, like some are gonna be like, well, why did you do that? I was like, I just put it in here because this is so mana intensive, and if we can get this thing to stick and then get it back to our turn, then we could possibly just go off that turn. And then we have Fire Inscription, which is 2 in a red, When it enters the battlefield, the ring tempts you, but whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, it deals 2 damage to each opponent. Now, I kind of wanted to put Goblin Sharp. Oh, gosh. This is Gutter Snipe. I was a Goblin Sharpshooter. Yeah, I want to put Gutter Snipe just because you could possibly copy it, but Gutter Snipe has always been pretty fragile every time I've seen it hit the board. Now, if you want, you can go ahead and switch one of the creatures out to put a Gutter Snipe, and if you have these two, you have this one, Gutter Snipe, and if you make a token of a Gutter Snipe, you could possibly kill everybody that turn as well. That's just your choice. Personally, I just took it out just because I feel like it's always getting removed, and I'm like, and these are going to be the cards that's going to help us put the game away. And I believe this is going to be our combos, and it's cool because I was able to kind of find like these fairly cheap combos to put into this deck. One of them is going to be probably like my favorite way to win, just because it's a little bit harder to get there, especially if you're playing under like a budget or something, under $100, you know. But Progenitor, Mimic, Biovisionary, and Adrix is going to be really sick, just because if you're able to get four more copies of Biovisionary onto the battlefield, you should theoretically win that game. So if you play Biovisionary and then you copy it with Riku, and if you have Adrix onto the battlefield, you already have 3. And then if you have a clone that you can go ahead and play, like something like Progenitor or Mimic, you're gonna win that game. And so that's one way that we're gonna go ahead and win. Another way is going to be Twin Flame, Ghostly Flicker, coupled with a Dual Caster Mage, a nice cheap combo that you can put in there. And then if you have a Ral Storm Conduit onto the battlefield, it's gonna keep doing 1 damage to a target opponent or a Planeswalker. So the way that it goes is whichever one you have on the field, right? Twin Flame kind of matters because Dual Caster, and then Ghostly Figures the opposite way. So you have a Dual Caster onto the battlefield, you Twin Flame it, the copy enters, and then you copy the Twin Flame and then go back and forth. You got to be careful though, because if you have like Archmage Emeritus onto the battlefield, you're gonna possibly draw yourself out before you can kill the table. And then Ghostly Flicker is like a different way. So you have what's it called? Dual Caster, Ghostly Flicker it. Same thing, pretty much. I think I gotta like it's been such a long time since I played this combo. I gotta remember how it goes. But you can go on EDH Rec and see the steps for the combo. And then you want the Ral Storm Conduit to be on the battlefield because you want it to deal 1 damage, because that's all cast or copy, and it's just and then Dual Caster is copying those spells. So you're gonna be able to just make a whole bunch of Dual Caster Mages, but really the Ral Storm Conduit is going to be the one that's going to deal the damage and all that stuff. Ghostly Flicker is there for that, just for like a little bit of redundancy. Twin Flame is a little bit better just because if someone interrupts or kills the Ral Storm, at least with the Twin Flame, the Dual Caster copy or tokens will have haste. And then our last one is going to be Peregrine Drake, Deadeye Navigator combo. If you guys, you probably have seen this time and time again, but you just soul bound them together, you untap all your lands, and if you have Eternal Witness, and we also have Archaeomancer, or some, the 4 mana return instant or sorcery from the battlefield or from the graveyard to your hand. We also have that in here as well, but I feel like Eternal Witness is just a better catch-all, just because it's going to get you everything from your graveyard. So you go ahead, do your Peregrine Drake, make your 1000 mana, and then you do it with Eternal Witness and just get everything back from your graveyard, and then you win. Yay! But I think that's gonna be it for today. We also have ways to, with Peregrine Drake and the Deadeye Navigator, we also have things like Banefire that's in there. We what's it called, Chandra's Eternal Flame, or whatever, the legendary sorcery that you can pay X into to deal X damage to 3 targets and all that stuff. So we do have a couple burn spells in here as well, just to really close out the game. I forgot to put that in this video, but I hope you guys don't mind that. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about Mirror Mastery Revisited. That's what the deck is called on Archideck. If you guys want to go ahead and check that out, I'm going to try to do this for the other 2011 pre-cons as well, so look forward to that. And I appreciate you guys. Hope you guys have a good day. Like, comment, and subscribe.